Is this thing on? Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. And a very warm welcome to Wednesday's edition of the dceu Daily. So we were all under the impression that the AT&T and Discovery merger wouldn't happen to the 11th of April, about a week away. Well, late yesterday, just before I was going to do my live show, I found out from all the publications that, in fact, by this Friday, the AT&T Discovery merger could be signed, sealed, delivered, and ratified. Very, very exciting. And then later on, after my live, we started getting news of heads rolling at Warner Media. There was the content person at HBO Max. There was Jason Kilar, who is at the moment the CEO of Warner Media. Now, to be very clear, Jason Kilar has always been John Stankey's, the CEOs of AT&T's proxy at Warner Media. Jason was never an issue. Unless you're Christopher Nolan and you hate him for day and date, he was never an issue. He was a friend. He really helped get the Snyder Cut out there. His exit should not be celebrated, and you should be all tagging him on Twitter, thanking him for everything he's done for DC and the company as a whole. So him going is irrelevant. The only reason he's going, he has not been sacked. He is the Warner Media CEO. When the takeover, or should I say the merger, as we're calling it today, when the merger is official, David Zaslav will be the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery. He's the CEO of Discovery. There won't be a job for Jason once the merger happens. That's why he's going. It's an irrelevant departure. It doesn't matter. We knew this was coming, or most of us knew anyway. But the vital departure is that of CEO chair of Warner Brothers Pictures and sarnoff. This is the vital departure. She is the bridge between Warner Media and Warner Brothers Pictures. She has been a big supporter of Toby Emmerich, and we'll talk about him very, very shortly. But her departure is very vital if you're a DC fan, a DCEU fan, and you want to restore the Snyderverse. So she's going. It's brilliant. So why has she been a problem? Well, if we all remember, she had a little, a huge interview, controversial interview with Variety, calling out Restore the Snyderverse fans and talking about how DC should be for everyone. And it should be for everyone. She was talking about a vocal minority. She was being, I think, very, very toxic. So her going is absolutely vital. Do I think we should be doing the kind of celebration dance? No. Because let's get to Toby Emmerich. Unless Toby Emmerich is removed as Warner Brothers Pictures chairman, nothing will change. If he goes, Zaslav and Discovery are telling us that they're going to gut this company, change its name, change its identity, change everything in how the movie division is run. It really is the movie division that is the problem. Jason Kilar did a great job with HBO Max. Its subscriber count is amazing. It's a success. I think it's the best streaming service out there thanks to Jason. As I say, I do not celebrate people losing their jobs for no reason. So Jason Kilar leaving, as I've said earlier, is irrelevant to me. But we all got very excited when we heard that Ann Sarnoff is leaving. Now, I'm sure Ann is a lovely lady. I'm sure she has family. I'm sure she has children, a husband. And I don't celebrate anyone losing their jobs. Let's be clear. Let's not be as toxic as they have been within the business of making films. So I'm sorry for her personally that she's lost this position, but she's probably a very wealthy lady anyway, so not a big deal. So her leaving is something to be celebrated if you care about DC live action. As I say, she is the bridge between Warner Media and Warner Brothers Pictures. She's a supporter of Emmerich. She's a supporter of Hamada. She's part of that little gap. So her going is huge. It's absolutely huge And as I say, it does need celebrating. But, as I say, Toby Emmerich is the vital cog. Now, they haven't really started dismissing other people yet. I woke up this morning hoping that Emmerich would be gone. He's still there. And as I say, if he doesn't go, nothing changes. Hamada keeps his job. Let's be very clear. If we find out today or tomorrow or the next day that Toby Emmerich is gone, that means nothing is safe. That anything can change at any moment. It means they'll gut WB Pictures. It means Hamada won't be the president of DC Films anymore. Facts. This is what's going to happen. And it's interesting these announcements are coming before David Zaslav walks through the door, so he doesn't have to have any kind of uncomfortable conversations with them or us. He doesn't have to pretend publicly when he makes his big announcement on Friday, when the takeover or the merger is official, that, you know, he wants to work with these people, which he said in the past, right? But look, and sarnoff is gone already. And listen, I was saying to you for many, many months, I don't know what's going to happen here. I said it could be that things happen instantaneously, or that we may have to wait 6 months, because normally in business, things don't change very quickly. The reason people are going over there at Warner Media and HBO Max is, firstly, Warner Media will become Warner Brothers Discovery. So it's a whole changeover. And David will have the people from that he knows or wants to bring into that company to take over those jobs. It happened when AT&T purchased Time Warner. The Time Warner people were gone, and John Stankey and AT&T brought in their own people. But they didn't gut WB Pictures. So the question remains now, will David Zaslav be so bold, even before he walks in the front door, to gut WB Pictures and sack Toby Emmerich? Now, we know last year there was a big rumour that Toby went to Netflix looking for a job. Now, we don't know how true this is. I think it's true, and Sarnoff, of course, denied it, but we can't believe or trust anything she has said. So, there's a good chance he could be gone. But my advice to you is, because I'm someone who doesn't like to celebrate things until they happen, there's people celebrating the Snyderverse being restored, don't do it. It's bad luck. Let's wait and see, because he may not touch WB Pictures. I want him to. I think he will gut WB Pictures, but we just don't know. There's a lot of people who have been telling me, Mick, nothing's going to change. It's all going to be the same. We've already seen 3 big hitters removed from the Warner Media and HBO Max company. Now, why are people being removed from HBO Max? Because HBO Max is the big thing. It's one of the biggest reasons that Zaslav and Discovery are interested in this company. They have their own streaming service that I actually subscribe to. It's Discovery Plus. It's got reality shows, documentaries. This is all going to merge with HBO Max. It's going to be one huge thing. And I expect them to call it probably Warner Brothers Discovery Plus or something like that. They should never have called it HBO Max. Nobody knows it has anything to do with WB, and that's a problem. We know Disney Plus is part of Disney. We know Paramount Plus is part of Paramount. Because once you know what the brand is, you can make a decision if you want to consume that brand. So I believe HBO Max would have had a lot bigger consumer count and sub count if people actually knew. I mean, the mainstream audience knew. You and I, the cinephiles, the geeks and the nerds, no. But normal people don't. I've never described myself as normal, by the way. So even though the Ann Sarnoff departure is huge, we really need to hold our horses. So America has a huge time difference from me here in Europe. So I'll have to wait from about, my mind will be on it from about 4 or 5 this afternoon, because that's when America wakes up, and that's when Wall Street wakes up as well. And so we need to wait and see. If Emmerich goes, then we can celebrate. Because Emmerich's the guy who told Zack Snyder to release a rough cut of the Snyder Cut in black and white from his iPhone. So we know he's a problem. He's been there since 2017, since Justice League, right? Maybe he was even there underhandedly earlier. He's always been the problem. While AT&T came in and removed some people, Toby Emmerich kept his job. So until he's officially gone, I won't believe he's gone. Yes, and Sarnoff's departure is brilliant if you care about DC live action, but it's not enough. It cuts off the communication, the bridge, the support Warner Brothers Pictures had. But unless David Zaslav and Discovery come in, gut WB Pictures, give us a DC Studios and do things properly and put the right person in charge of DC Studios, we have nothing. Do I think that David Zaslav wants to restore the Snyderverse? Yes. David Zaslav had a board of the Snyder Cut when he was talking about a year ago. So we know he's interested in that. He's seen the numbers. He knows the numbers. This is a guy who wants to make money. So this is important. He also said that Superman, Batman and Wonder Woman would be front and center. He believes that those are vital cogs in any DC live action franchise. He would be right. And again, he needs to put the right people in charge. David Zaslav doesn't know how to run a studio. Neither does he need to. Any CEO of any business doesn't normally, if you're a printer, if you're a CEO of a printing company, you don't actually know how to do printing, even though it's pretty basic, right? A football chairman or chairperson or lady or whatever, right, may not know how to run a football club, how to do football tactics. That's why there's a manager there, there's a director of football there. So David Zaslav for the past year has moved to Hollywood and has taken advice from everyone. He's spoken to people who, walked away from Warner Brothers like Christopher Nolan and Zack Snyder. Rumor has it he's even spoken to Henry Cavill, but we'll have to wait and see because there are rumors out there. Some are true, some are not. So David Zaslav is taking this very seriously, and I think we can see how quickly he's pushed this deal through. I'm not saying he's oiled any palms, but business is business, right? So he's wanted to get in there quickly because this guy may not be an expert on how to run a studio, as many CEOs are not experts on how to run a business, but he's a businessman and he's done wonders over at Discovery. This is a Bob Iger situation. This is a paradigm shift. So yes, I do hope and I do believe mostly that he will remove Emmerich, but it's just an opinion. I don't know. This is not like movie leaks. There's very few leaks coming out. There was a leak a couple of weeks ago about them creating a DC Studios, bringing a former Paramount CEO in to run Warner Brothers Discovery Motion Pictures. I hope that's true. So you do need someone who knows how to run a studio. David knows this. He's, as I say, been seeking advice from Hollywood and how to proceed. So David has been planning this for over a year. He knows what he wants to do, and he's going to do it. I don't really know much about David Zaslav, but I do subscribe to Discovery. Discovery is a huge company, and he's done a great job with it. You're not CEO of a company if you don't make that company money. The shareholders will just get rid of you, right? Because they want to make money. That's what business is about, right? So if I was a silent partner in this YouTube channel and someone else was presenting it, right? Just say I employed Chris Wong Svensson to present my channel, right? I said, here, Chris, 100 grand a year, present my channel, and I'll just chew gum behind the scenes and collect the money. And he's not really bringing the subscribers and the viewers. Now, I'm sure Chris would. I'm just using Chris as an example. I would have to sack him. So that's what a CEO is. So David Zaslav has clearly done a very good job for Discovery. But it is now a wait and see scenario. So I now think you understand why we got these Flash movie test screening leaks. This was an utterly toxic move by Ann Sarnoff and Toby Emmerich. They knew they were going to get the sack, and I do believe Emmerich will get the sack, fingers crossed. So they knew this. If you remember, we discussed this before on this channel. Just before the Snyder Cut was going to be released, someone leaked a dark side portion of it over a Tom and Jerry movie. It interrupted a Tom and Jerry movie. That's what they did, because they were against Zack Snyder. And they weren't happy that the Snyder Cut was being released, because it wasn't their plan. It was John Stanky's and Jason Kilar's plan, and they were fucking raging mad about it, that they'd lost the battle. So these are very toxic people, and this is why they're leaking these plans. Listen, as I say, if Emmerich goes, that means the entire DCEU multiverse strategy is under risk, under threat. We don't know if it will go ahead. This doesn't mean I know for a fact that it won't or it will, but we're talking here because David Zaslav has come in fresh, and he's going to want to look at this plan and see what's going on with it, and if it's viable and if it's going to work. So very, very interesting. But yeah, this is why the Flash movie was delayed under orders from Discovery, because they want to evaluate the situation. But yes, there is a realistic situation that this plan may not happen. You know, James Wan is working on his movie. Andy Muschietti is working in post in his movie. So it isn't the norm to dump movies, spend an exuberant amount of money on them, then dump them. Of course it's not. But we're talking here about the future of live action. And what David Zaslav has to do, and the new CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery Pictures, and maybe even the president of DC Studios, will have to make this decision whether these plans are fit for purpose. As I said on yesterday's live, Mickey Sutton confirmed that J.J. Abrams and Ta-Nehisi Coates' Superman of Color is dead. It's finished. Now, the official reason is that Coates didn't deliver his first draft in time. He took too long, and he became busy with other things. This, of course, isn't true. And also, this huge lucrative J.J. Abrams deal that Toby Emmerich put together for WB could be under threat. Or his plans for DC, what's it called? Is it Injustice? Oh, Justice League Dark, that's it. He was doing Justice League Dark, he was doing Zatanna. Those things under his tutelage may not happen now. I've got a feeling, and I've got a good feeling for these things. I think J.J. Abrams is out at Warner Brothers. I made it a point that I predicted this a few weeks ago, that the Superman of Color movie was dead at WB. I've warned you before, don't discount what someone says because they're a small YouTuber and they don't have many views and many subscribers. It's irrelevant, right? It's just like when a prostitute testifies as a witness. Why does she have to have bad eyesight, right? So that kind of thing. That's my analogy anyway. So you should really be keeping it here on Movies TV Mad. And if you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe, because this, if you're interested in what's going on with WB and Warner Brothers Discovery and the future of DC live action, this is the place to be. What's going to happen? Do these films continue? Does the DCEU continue? These are the huge questions. And at the end of the day, no one knows the answers to these questions apart from David Zaslav and the people with him. Nobody else knows what's going to happen. Does the DCEU finally go, or does it stay? We're going to have to wait and see. But the removal of Sarnoff is taking one brickwork out of shaky foundations. So we're going to have to kind of be very patient and see what happens next. I hope and think that Toby Emmerich will go, but what I think ultimately doesn't matter. It only matters what David Zaslav does next, because it's interesting that the Warner Media people are being removed, but no one really at WB Pictures, and I would call Sarnoff, you know, the bridge between Warner Media and WB Pictures rather than WB Pictures. So no one at WB Pictures has officially been removed yet. We have been told there will be more high-profile departures before Friday when the takeover is official. And so business isn't my line of expertise, but I can understand what's going on. I can explain to you what this merger is about, that it's not really a merger, it's a takeover. That's why Discovery is slapping their name all over a brand new Warner Brothers studio. It's going to be their company. David Zaslav gets to make the big decisions. No, a CEO doesn't stand there and do the day-to-day running of a studio. That's why he will put a studio head in if he removes Toby. So Toby has been bulletproof since 2017. Despite all his failings, he's been bulletproof. People have lost their jobs apart from him. He's obviously got, I don't know, something that keeps him in a job. Hopefully, this is the moment he goes. Because if he doesn't go, that means that David Zaslav will allow him the day-to-day running of Warner Brothers Pictures. This means the Snyder Cut doesn't get restored unless Zaslav goes above his head. This is not a good thing, because it will be the same as what Stanky did. He went above his head, and look what happened. Ultimately, the Snyderverse wasn't restored. So we don't want that. We want the best scenario for all of us who want to restore the Snyderverse and care about DC live action is for Emmerich to go. He has to go. It is so vital, because we won't get the changes at the studio, at the film company that we want if Emmerich remains. Emmerich has made mistakes. Emmerich is incompetent. Sarnoff was incompetent. That's why she's gone. So it's important that he goes. But we don't know, because people in Hollywood fail upwards. So, but it is important he goes finally. He's been there too long. He should never have been there. His handling of DC live action is absolutely terrible. He was part of the, he was part of the company. He was running the company when Justice League happened, and he wanted Zack Snyder to release a black and white rough cut of the Snyder Cut, which is the most ridiculous thing I've heard. He wanted to cut out the No Man's Land scene out of Wonder Woman, and Patty Jenkins put a stop to that. That was ridiculous. They didn't understand. He didn't understand the whole awesome Flash moment near the end of the Snyder Cut when he runs, and it won an Oscar. So how embarrassing for him. So he is an incompetent fool, and he has to go. He may be a very delightful gentleman in real life, but this is business, and it's about our enjoyment of movies. We don't want to see incompetent people running Warner Brothers, a studio that we stand, that we supported for so many years. We want the right people. But ultimately, as a DC live action fan, I want someone competent running a DC studios. But we're really here, we're walking the tightrope, because a lot of you want Hamada gone. Now, it's difficult. It's difficult. I don't know anymore. I have said in the past, though, you can't have a president of DC Films who's hiding, who hasn't got social media accounts, that doesn't talk to the fans, doesn't make any public statements. It's ridiculous. You could say, well, Mick, as long as he does a good job, that's the main thing. But these days, it's about being a face. You need a face. This has been the success of Kevin Feige. So, yes, Toby Emmerich must go. If Emmerich goes, Hamada goes. It's really quite simple. Hamada doesn't stay if Emmerich goes. If Emmerich stays, Hamada stays. And Jim Lee and Hamada continue to run DC Films, and Jim Lee runs everything DC right now. I don't know what happens to Jim Lee. I don't think he'll be as bold as Zaslav as to remove Jim Lee, because people love Jim Lee. He's Mr. DC, isn't he? So I can't see him going. He's not important. We don't want him to go. Jim Lee's an icon. But Emmerich must go. And we're going to have to wait and see what happens here. And I do think he'll be gone. But, as I say, it's just my opinion. I don't know for sure. Anything can happen. It does look like David Zaslav is after totally changing this company, which is important, because this is an underperforming company. After the clusterfuck, that's Fantastic Beasts 2, right? Fantastic Beasts 2 made okay money, but it's a terrible film. They then commissioned J.K. Rowling to write a third movie, where they removed Johnny Depp. This movie is already a flop in China. The Chinese are not interested in it. I don't think this movie makes much money. I feel bad for Harry Potter fans. They've been let down by J.K. Rowling. Now, I don't have any issue with J.K. Rowling's personal controversial opinions. My opinion is, you said it once, love, so you have to keep on going on about it. But she's enjoying the attention, right? And it's really funny how she's starting to, look, she's going out there pretending that it's actually just men who hate her. No, just as many women hate you, Joe, as men do. So I don't hate you. I think you're a genius, Joe. But you're not a movie writer. You're a novel writer. And there's a difference between writing books and screenplays. When you're writing a film, you have to write at pace. It's a talent to write a good movie at pace. You can take years to write a novel, right? You can't do that with this because people want movies delivered for their release dates. And she's just no good at writing at pace, but she is Harry Potter. She owns the brand, right? It's her brand and she can do whatever she wants. I think this is just as a serious issue as the DC situation is. Zaslav will have to look at the Harry Potter franchise because that's dead money. And there's potential there. You must bring back the original cast and continue the adventures of Harry Potter, Hermione, and Ron. Harry Potter, the original franchise, is as huge as DC in potential, and Marvel, and anything else that's dormant. But back to DC. DC has many years of lost potential, the money it could be making. You know, I love Snyder's work, and I do think the Snyderverse will be restored under David Zaslav, but we also need a central universe to appeal to everybody. So big changes are coming, hopefully, fingers crossed. But Toby Emmerich, if Toby Emmerich goes, then we can celebrate. Don't celebrate yet. Do not celebrate until Toby goes. If Toby goes, I will fucking dance on a video, right? I will. Not naked. I was thinking about naked, but I can't do that because then I'll lose my YouTube channel. But definitely, I'm going to be doing the gig if he goes. Not very nice to be celebrating someone getting a sack, but it's not like it's someone with 5 kids with not much money. He's a millionaire. Sarnoff's probably a millionaire, not a biggie. So, yes, there's nothing to celebrate quite yet. Yes, Sarnoff going is huge, of course, but it's not enough. Toby is really the vital situation here. And who knows which way Zaslav will swing here. So all we can do is cross our fingers. This is a huge week for us now, knowing that this takeover or merger will be official on Friday. And before then, there will be more people losing their jobs. We can only hope Toby Emmerich is one of them. He cannot stay. Excuse me. If he stays, then there's nothing to celebrate, as far as I'm concerned. Now, I don't know who they put in charge to replace Sarnoff in the new Warner Discovery. That's a different matter. But that's not enough. You can't just police the problem. You must remove the problem. And the problem for us DC fans and Snyderverse fans is Toby Emmerich. So he's got to go. So let's wait and see. Let's not get too excited yet. As I say, no celebrations from me yet. Let's hold off on the celebrations until we know that he's been fired. So, yeah, last night, which it was night here in Europe, was shocking to me, first of all, that they've moved forward the official date of this merger, which will be Friday. That's when it will be Warner Brothers Discovery, and you'll get that big, shiny announcement from David Zaslav. And Ann Sarnoff being removed as CEO chair is absolutely huge. It's the beginning. It's what we wanted to see. This is our wildest dreams, that these things are happening straight away. But we must hold our horses here. Although, I think on the tweet where Variety said that Discovery takeover from Friday, that was retweeted by David Ayer. Does he know that Zaslav is going to release the Ayer cut? Is David Ayer one of the many creators and actors that David Zaslav has already spoken to? I think so. So it's very exciting, and let's see how things proceed as we get closer to the merger between AT&T and Discovery. This has been the DCEU Daily with me, Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives, please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection, and I'll see you again later. Until we see each other again, goodbye, au revoir, Alfie the same.